Greetings of the day to everyone watching this video. So, here our group is going to present on this topic, pulse measurement. In our presentation, we'll dive into the pulse measurement, starting with its definition and tracing its evolution from ancient practices to modern innovations. We'll explore how it works, the devices used, and its wide ranging applications in healthcare. So, together, we'll uncover how this essential tool helps us understand and monitor the heart health. Our group members include Nehal, Marlin, Kirti, Mayuk, and Prasanjit. Now, coming to, first understand what is pulse. In a basic definition, pulse is the heartbeat of innovation, a dynamic force that keeps the rhythm of ideas alive. Whether it's about capturing fleeting moments of inspiration or bridging the gap between creativity and execution, Pulse thrives as a powerhouse of energy and passion. Coming to its biological definition, pulse refers to the regular beating sensation in the arteries caused by blood being pumped through them that is commonly felt at the wrist or the neck. It serves as a vital sign of heart activity and the efficiency of the circulatory system. Monitoring pulse helps evaluate heart rate, rhythm, and blood flow strength, making it an essential measure for understanding a person's overall health. Now, there has been certain history and facts about the evolution of pulse measurement. The journey of pulse monitoring from the ancient wisdom to the modern science. From the ancient China's healers decoding health through wrist pulses to Egypt's and Greece's recognition of the pulse as a signal of disease, humanity's fascination with the heart's rhythm has been timeless. Galen classified pulse rhythms into diagnostic tools, while Avicenna refined their analysis, aligning it with heart function in Islamic medicine. The 19th century saw spigomanograph turn pulses into visual data, paving the way for 20th century revolution of ECGs and monitors, offering real-time insights into heart health. Meanwhile, nature's baroreceptors work silently within us, adjusting blood pressure to maintain balance. This journey from touch to technology highlights our enduring quest to understand the heart's language. It is very important to understand the importance of pulse measurement and how it is used in our day to day diagnosis. The very first one for the diagnosis of the cardiac arrhythmias. Let's take an example. There's a girl named Sarah who experiences frequent dizziness and fatigue. Her doctor checks her pulse and notices irregular beats. This leads to a diagnosis of atrial fibrillation, prompting immediate medical intervention to prevent complications like stroke. Coming to the second one, that is the assessment of cardiovascular health. So, imagine yourself during a stress test where the pulse rate spikes significantly with minimal exercise. This abnormal response helps his physician identify an overactive sympathetic nervous system and prescribe relaxation techniques to restore the balance. Now, for the assessment of cardiovascular health, during a routine checkup, a person's resting pulse rate is unusually high. Further testing reveals hypertension and early signs of atherosclerosis. Thanks to early pulse monitoring, that the condition is managed before it progresses to heart failure. Now, monitoring treatment efficiency. While recovering from a heart attack, it is prescribed beta blockers to manage the heart rate of the person. So, regular pulse checks how the heart rate is stabilizing, confirming the medication is effective, and aiding the recovery plan. These examples demonstrate how pulse monitoring transforms a simple measurement into a powerful tool for diagnosing, assessing, and managing heart and overall health. I would like Merlin to explain the types of devices.
Thanks, Nehal. Now, let's have a look at the types of pulse measurement devices. Pulse measurement devices are essential for monitoring cardiovascular health. These devices can be broadly classified into mechanical devices and electronic devices, each with unique characteristics and use cases. Firstly, mechanical devices. Mechanical devices rely on manual or analog methods to measure pulse and other cardiovascular parameters. They are often used in clinical settings for accurate diagnosis, such as stethoscope and sphygmomanometer. Stethoscope is used to listen to the sounds of the heart and blood flow when placed on the chest. It helps in detecting heartbeat, rhythm, and rate. The advantages of stethoscope is it is inexpensive, reliable, and requires no power. It provides additional information such as heart murmurs or irregularities. Limitation of stethoscope is it is skill based and does not provide a numerical reading of pulse rate. Whereas sphygmomanometer, this device measures blood pressures indirectly, which includes the palpitation of the pulse. It uses an inflatable cuff, a pressure gauge, and a stethoscope or sensor to determine systolic and diastolic pressures. Advantages of sphygmomanometer provides a holistic view of cardiovascular health and is highly accurate when used properly. Limitations of sphygmomanometer is it is bit time consuming and requires training and to use effectively and is less portable compared to digital devices. Now coming on to electronic devices. Electronic devices uh, utilize sensors and digital technology to measure pulse, making them more user friendly and accessible for everyday use. Such as pulse oximeters and smart watches and fitness trackers too. Pulse oximeters measures pulse rate and blood oxygen saturation by shining light through the fingertip or earlobe and detecting changes in light absorption. Advantages of pulse oximeter is it is non-invasive, portable, and provides instant readings of both pulse rate and oxygen levels. Limitations of pulse oximeter is it may give inaccurate readings if the device is not properly placed or that's it. And smartwatches and fitness trackers are the wearables which use PPG sensors to detect blood flow changes in the wrist, estimating the pulse rate. Advanced models also track heart rate variability, stress, and exercise metrics. Advantages of these trackers it is convenient and multifunctional and suitable for continuous monitoring. The limitation of such trackers are that the accuracy can vary depending upon the device brand and how it's worn, and the battery life can be a concern. Now, moving on to the comparison between manual and digital pulse measurement device. Next slide. Uh, we can see manual devices are easily portable are bulky and less portable, whereas digital devices are lightweight and portable. Accuracy of manual devices are high comparatively as compared to digital devices, as it may vary based on device quality and user placement. Manual devices requires training and practice, whereas digital devices are user friendly and intuitive. Now I would like to call Kirti to proceed with the further presentation.
Thanks, Marlon. Next slide, Nehal. So here we are at construction of pulse measurement device. There are two types, mechanical and electronic. In mechanical pulse measurement devices, pressure cuffs are used in sphygmomanometers to detect pulse by measuring arterial expansion, and mechanical sensors are used in pulse transducers that respond to arterial movement with each heartbeat. And then in electronic pulse measurement devices, PPG sensors are used, which detects blood volume changes in tissues, and electrodes, which captures heart electrical activity, and microcontrollers, which process sensor data to display pulse rate. Next slide, Nehal. So the key components are sensors, which detect changes in physical properties, example light absorption in pulse oximeters, and microcontrollers, which process sensor data and control device functions. And as of display, which provide user feedback through visual and auditory signals. Example of sensors are photoelectric sensors, which measures blood flow by detecting light changes used in impulse oximeters, and electromagnetic pickups commonly used for measuring rotation speeds in industrial applications. Next slide, Nehal. So now we have a component of pulse measurement device, which is MAX 30100. It's a low power biometric sensor, measured heart rates and blood oxygen saturation. The key features are integrated LEDs, which used for light emission, and photodetectors, which measure light absorption changes due to blood flow, and I2C interface, which is easy to integration and with microcontrollers, and its functionality. Heart rate measurements. It detects pulsated blood flow via PPG, and then it is used in pulse oximeter, which calculates oxygen saturation by analyzing light absorption ratios. As of its applications in medical devices, it's been used in pulse oximeters, and wearable technologies. It is used in fitness trackers and smartwatches, which is used for continuous health monitoring. Now I'd like to hand over it to Mayuk.
Thank you, Kirti. So we take up the working principles of basically mechanical pulse measurement devices. So we begin with the stethoscope, which is a medical device used to listen to internal body sounds such as the heart and lungs. The principle it works on is it uses sound waves generated by heartbeats and blood flow. The working is the diaphragm that captures sound vibrations by amplifying them for auscultation. Now we move on to the sphygmomanometer, which is an instrument used to measure blood pressure, typically consisting of an inflatable cuff and a gauge. The principle is it measures blood pressure through artery compression. And the working is that an inflatable cuff is placed around the arm. As it deflates, a clinician listens for Korotkov sounds to determine systolic and diastolic pressures. Now we have a video demonstration. Okay, so we go to the next slide. This was the video demonstration for you. So we start off with a pulse oximeter, which is a device that measures the oxygen saturation level in the blood and pulse rate, usually by attaching to a fingertip. So the principle is it utilizes photoplethysmography (ppg) to measure pulse and oxygen saturation. And the working is based on infrared light sensors which detect blood volume changes in capillaries, calculating pulse rate and oxygen levels. Now we move forward to wearable devices, which are differentiated into smartwatches and fitness trackers, and many more that we are talking about. Principle that it integrates multiple sensors for continuous monitoring, and the working is based on its usage of PPG and accelerometers to track pulse and physical activity, sensing data with mobile applications for health insights. Now I hand it over to my friend Prasanajit.
Thanks, Mayuk. And now I'll be explaining about applications of pulse measurement. This is Prasanjit here, and well, also Kirti mentioned few applications before, but we'll be talking about in details. Now, whenever we talk about pulse measurement devices, we often associate this with hospitals and medical emergencies and all, but it actually goes beyond that. Let's see what all things are there. Now, telemedicine and telemonitoring. Now, there is a company called Vital Connect. It has a device called Vital Patch, which is also used for a remote monitoring device. It tracks heart rate, respiratory, ECG, but mostly it tracks heart rate, the primary device it has. So the second application it has is mental health tracking. Now there is a company called Field Therapeutics. Now most of the company that I'm mentioning is from US. So this is from US as well. Now, this use some AI-driven wearables to monitor stress levels and mental well-being by analyzing heart rate variability. Now, while I was researching about it, in the company's about us page, there is one fact mentioned that I want to mention. One of four people will experience mental disorder in their life. Now, the third thing is veterinary medicine. Now, there is this company called PetFace has this wearable pet trackers that monitors heart rate and other vitals in pet. Help vets identify stress, infections, or recovery progress through continuous monitoring. Now, the fourth is AI-driven predictive health, which is on rise right now. There is this company Biointelligence Intelligence. Now, it integrates pulse data with AI for early detection of chronic condition like atrial fibrillation and hypertension. So these are often used in elderly care, and we'll be talking about it more. So now there is one more thing that not really there is no specific company that uses this, but it is in research phase. But I found it to be very interesting, so I mentioned it. Now there is a group of researchers from Spain that have published a paper on seat belt and seat cover embedded with sensors that can detect driver respiration and heart rate. Now, what it does is it combats driver fatalities and car accidents caused by fatigue and also other cardiovascular things. So I've also embedded that paper there, but I don't think so. We should open that. There are many things. I've just briefed it what they did. Now let's get into some other applications. Next slide, please. Yeah. So there is another application: sports performance and physical therapy. Now, these athletes and therapists use pulse data to monitor recovery and optimize their training and assessing fitness level and avoiding these over exertion. So now what happens here is you might be thinking about Apple Watch. Well, let me tell you about that. This Apple Watch is not really a health monitor. It is called fitness tracker. Well, even though it's a fitness tracker, but most of the athletes would like to use this health monitor thing because it has more insights from them. So there is this company called Whoop. I think India, it's coming to India or it's already there in India. But yeah, it's a health monitor device. Even there is another device called Aura Ring that you can use for this health monitor thing. So what it does is aids in designing personalized training and rehabilitation of programs. Another application is space health monitoring. Now, pulse monitoring in space missions are very crucial because the conditions there are not really normal, I would say. So, by analyzing cardiovascular response in microgravity, this device basically detects and allows real-time adjustment to maintain the health in that extreme condition over there. So, there is this company called Salutron that is backed by NASA. It's not a NASA company. So, it provides these things to astronauts. Now, another thing that I found was autonomous driving safety. Now, pulse sensors in autonomous vehicles monitors passenger stress, alertness level. Now, for this example, this system detect heightened stress during unexpected maneuvers, allowing the vehicle to adjust speed or driving style to optimize passenger comfort and safety. Well, this might sound like the previous example that I gave, a research one, but it's not actually the same thing. There is one company, Gentherm, I think it's from Germany. It has developed one seat that helps in doing these things. Also, Hyundai is working on this concept as well, but they did not commercialize yet. This was for autonomous driving safety, but there was another thing as well. In a research paper, it is mentioned that I have put it up in image form. So, in image, what it is showing that there is a phone. When you when you put your finger over there and above the flashlight and camera, so what it does is it extracts this video frames. Now there is some PPG time series extraction. Now, if you're wondering about what PPG is basically obtained from this optical results by pulse oximeter, I think, which illuminates the skin, as you can see it in the picture, and also measures the changes in light absorption. So that is what PPG is. And now this PPG data is going for pre-processing. And then we have some models that is estimating our vitals and PPG, converting this PPG to ECG. Then it's giving the complete output. So there is in that research paper, it was written that you can measure this while riding cars if you're feeling very uneasy and all. So you can integrate this in car as well. But I think that's not really very practical approach. I don't think so many people will be using that thing. So yeah, I did not mention it evidently in other points. So I have done one case study that I think should be practical. So it is in the next slide. Yeah. The case study is basically based on elderly people in India. Now, in India, health monitoring solutions for elderly people are very limited. While wearables like Apple Watch and Whoop are available, they often lack language support, local language support, affordability, and also tailored insights for them. Now, in one research, I have found that Apple Watch is basically made for people in their mid age, not mid and young, you could say, not for elderly people. So, for in elderly people, the skin are kind of different as well. So there is some sensing, there is some misinformation and sensing in the app. So now, approximately 80% of elderly people in globally suffers from chronic diseases. Yet, only 20% have access to consistent health monitoring. Now, there are some problems to this problem statement that I mentioned. Now, there are many, but I've just mentioned four. Number one is many elderly people live alone, uh, alone or with their caretakers, but not with their family. So, yeah, it creates a gap in their daily checkups or follow ups. Now, the second thing is not all our Dada Dadi speaks English. Well, we know this. Also, this existing wearables that I talked about, that Apple Watch and Whoop, are kind of expensive as well. Third thing is existing solutions are mostly focused on fitness rather than health monitoring. As I explained before, that Apple Watch or some other Fitbits and all, they are mostly a fitness tracker, not a health monitor. So that is the third problem. The fourth thing is chronic illness. In India, basically, there are 60% of elderly people in India. They suffer from chronic illness. Now, this leads to significant healthcare cost. Now, for this problem, I propose one solution. That solution is, it's an smart pulse monitor. It's a user-friendly device that ensures continuous health tracking for elderly only. Now, alerting caregivers for any irregular pulse reading and reminders. As I've told before, they live alone or with their caretaker. So I think caretakers are better suited for taking care of those elderly people than themselves. So what the architecture here is, I'll just explain it briefly. Now there is this device. So it senses that irregularities, like if they fall or there is some spike in their pulse, or there is um, you know something is irregular in the sensor reading. So it goes to the app. Now now whenever app receives this data, it it just triggers an alert. So this alert it goes to people who have installed the app, like caretakers or their sons or daughters or anyone. That is one. Now second thing is, most of the elderly people need medications and all. So we can do one reminder thing as well, which reminds them about medications to the caregiver or family members. So that is one thing. And also to the patient, we can send one vibration alert kind of thing to remind them if they're given to do something, or like to take a walk outside or something like that. So that is, I think, something a very practical approach to tackle this solution. And I think we can work in this. Now, I would like to hand over this to Nihal.
Okay, so as you have seen the entire video, based on that only, let's test you with some basic general questions. So, the very first one, what is the average resting heart rate for a healthy adult, and how does it change with physical fitness levels? Try to guess the answers, and I'll post the answers after the end of this whole video. Yes, so the answer for this is 60 to 100 beats per minute. The average resting heart rate is 60 to 100, but the athletes or the physically fit individuals often have lower resting rates due to their improved heart efficiency. Coming to the second question, how does age affect the normal pulse rate, and why do children generally have higher pulse rates than adults? Yes, the correct answer is option A, that is, children have faster heart rates due to smaller heart size and faster metabolism. The third one, so very interesting question, that is, why might someone's pulse be strong at their wrist but weak at other pulse points? And what could this indicate about their circulatory system? The correct answer is option B, that they might have peripheral artery disease. Otherwise, it's not normal to have strong pulses at the wrist but weak at the other pulse points. Okay, few more. How does the body adjust the pulse rate in response to changes in blood pressure? And what role does baroreceptors play in the process? I have discussed about the baroreceptors earlier in the video. So try to guess what's the correct answer. Yes, the correct answer is option A. That is, baroreceptors slow down the pulse when blood pressure rises. Okay, moving on to the next. What is the lowest recorded human heart rate, and how do elite athletes achieve such low resting pulses rate without compromising their health? A generalized question at what is the lowest human heart rate? Yes, you might have guessed it right. So it is 26 beats per minute. That is, it has been the lowest recorded human heart rate till now. And athletes do achieve low resting pulses because of the increased stroke volume. The last question for this session. So, why is a rapid pulse, that is tachycardia, a potential sign of dehydration, and how can this be used in emergency diagnostics? Tachycardia, being a potential sign of dehydration, this is used in the emergency diagnostics as dehydration causes the heart to beat faster to maintain circulation, and that's how you can easily diagnose it. So, these are the answers for your reference. Okay, that's all from our side. Thank you.